action figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Generations Studio Series 19 of the Retro Rock Garage Volume 1 Bumblebee figure. For the package, as you can see, you've got a really nice, kind of cartoonish sort of look to Bumblebee, but it is in his old style. We'll get into that more in a little bit. You got a nice boombox down here. The side right here does say Studio Series 19. So if you're trying to collect all the Studio Series figures, you're probably going to be a little bit annoyed because, as I said, the only way to get this was through Comic-Con or through limited availability on Hasbro Toy Shop. On the opposite side here, you have that Transformers Bumblebee Retro Rock Garage thing right down there, and then you come around to the back, and it shows the songs that are on the tape. Side A here has Let the Good Times Roll Out, Got You on Speed Dial, Mr. Cassetto Bato, Rock Out With Your Leg Out, and then on side B, it's got Energon or Nothing, Alt Mode Monday, Rust Will Tear Us Apart, and Get Stung, which is really cool. I like how they take real songs and kind of transform them up a little bit, but I love this. Product does not include music. Wah, wah. I know, very sad. And then it is a slip style package, so you just lift this up like so, and here you have it. And it's done up, I love this, it's done up to look like a cassette tape. This is side A, this is side B. You got an open window that showcases Bumblebee in there. I like how the top section right here, I don't know if you can kind of see it, says Transformers across the top, but it's done up throughout the entire thing to look like a tape. Like down here is actually the tape that would have the music. So you would have the spools inside here that would have that tape kind of put on there, and then when you would put it in, close it, and hit the play button, it would kind of drag this tape across the bottom, and that's basically how music would play, for those of you that don't know how cassettes work, you know. But really very, very cool looking. I like how they kind of replicate like tape on there, and like this is written in and stuff. The biggest selling point with this, though, is what's inside here. You open this up a little bit, and you can see that you have some original Dino cassette bots. Now, I believe these are the Autobot ones. I'm gonna have to remember the names before I get into it, but these were really only available over in Japan. This is the first time that we've gotten these here in the United States, and that's why a lot of people are really wanting to get this particular set. The Bumblebee figure itself is just a repaint of that Studio Series Bumblebee that we got previously. So nothing really overly special. I mean, it's a nice paint job, don't get me wrong, but it's a paint job that is more designed to look like that Volkswagen Beetle, I believe. So why they didn't take this opportunity to give us an exclusive of that Volkswagen Beetle when that new movie comes out around Christmas time is beyond me. I really think that they missed an opportunity with it, but for the packaging on this, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get this guy out here and see how cool he actually is. So here we have everything opened up and out of its packaging, and starting out first with Bumblebee. As I said, this is just a repaint. I really feel that they missed the mark in giving us an exclusive figure. They've done it a lot of times in the past where they've kind of given us an early release of something that was coming from a movie, and I feel they could have done that with the Volkswagen version of this guy. I think it's I think it's Studio Series 20 that has that Volkswagen Beetle. I don't know why we couldn't have gotten it. It is, you know, still a little ways away from where the movie's coming out, but you would imagine that the toys will be coming out before that. So I feel like this is kind of a waste. Now, granted, the movie takes place in the 80s. This being a late 70s version of a Camaro, he may have this look in the movie. He may go from this to that Volkswagen at some point in time. That's just speculation, who knows, but the paint job on this is really very, very nice. Taking a look at his weapon, you can see it still does plug in the back. Nice silver, nice silver paint throughout the entire thing. You got some of that gold, the section kind of around there, and then a really nice gold paint on the entire thing. It does have some nice added detail, like you can see Z28 there. Let me come in here so you can actually see that where it says Z28. Some nice painted, well, it's not even painted, I think that's just molded in terms of the rims, and then the tires look painted. You have some, what does that say? I can't, my eyes are terrible, can't see what that says, but you can see some nice black paint right there, but the gold looks good. You have the Z28 logo right there in the front. You have some blue paint in there, little paint for the bottom section of the grill. Then you have some taillights, but other than that, I mean, you got the Z28 there as well. Not really anything different. It's a nice color. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if they've fixed some of the issues like with the looseness of this. I would imagine they would, but it's also Hasbro, so who knows. Coming to the bottom, you can see that you still have all that same stuff. You get some extra paint detail with like the crotch, the hands. The head looks really nice. Obviously, we'll take a look at all that in robot mode. I'm going to skip the transformation because we have seen it before. It's not different, so there's no point. And is apparently really curious. He's a member of what's called the W cassette bots, and in addition to him and I'm guessing Soar, although in the instructions they call them Uruas. I don't know how to say it, but I'm just going to call this Dial and Soar because it makes things a little bit easier on my life. Now, in terms of the size, because they're original, I don't want to say G1, well, I guess you kind of could because they came out with the Headmasters. It is roughly the same size. Now, this is the Masterpiece Buzzsaw, but we all know that the Masterpiece cassettes were roughly the exact same size as the G1 versions, so you can see that that fits really very nicely, and they're basically the same. This is a little bit loose. That's a little unfortunate, but you can see that the size here does fit, although he's a little bit smaller. You can kind of, if I stand him up here like that, you can see that he's a little bit smaller than Buzzsaw. But where'd I put him? There we go. Okay, we got Soundwave. Now this is the Masterpiece Soundwave, but the cassettes all fit in there roughly the same. He actually, it's a little bit tricky to do. His fits in there pretty good, but you kind of have to put him upside down. When you put him in like this, it doesn't really seem to go down all that well. So if you put him around like that, he fits in there easily. It's a little bit tricky to get him out. As far as Soar, again, he fits in there, but he tends to get caught in there. Let me see. Yeah, see, he gets in there, but you kind of have to, again, it works a little bit. See, like he's jammed in there. Now, there you go. Kind of have to pull them out, but they do fit. And obviously, again, this is the Masterpiece Soundwave, but the cassette thing still is basically the same. Now, because I never have transformed these guys, as I said, this is the first time that they're available here in North America, which is cool. You got the little Autobot. It's not a rub sign on there. Oh, and then this guy's a Decepticon, so I'm not 100% sure. I know that the Studio Series 20 comes with these guys as well, so maybe this isn't actually Soar. But the other two transformed into a Pteranodon and an Allosaurus. This one changes into an Apatosaurus, which I don't know. I get confused with all this stuff. I don't know why they would call him an Autobot. That seems kind of strange, but whatever. So to transform, I'm just Dairu. You come around here. You bring these little legs down, just like so. Get that. Oh, that's really stiff. All right, bring that down. Take this whole back section. You rotate this down like so, and then these little legs here fold forward. Again, really super stiff. And that's a good thing, but I mean, there we go. All right, bring that all the way down. So set that like that. You can kind of angle that like so. Take this whole back section, fold this back, and then you want to extend the little tail section out, then rotate this piece up. You can, and then take these legs and you can actually split these apart a little bit. You can see you got a whole section right there that does kind of split apart, which does give some depth to them, which is cool. Now they all do come with little weapons. It's just it's hard to see. Little chrome weapon, which looks pretty good. You come around here, you can plug that into the back holes. There we go. And there you have Dairu. Like I said, he transforms into like an Iguanodon or something, I guess. Sure. Okay. And then taking, I can't say it. I'm just gonna, however you say that name right there. I thought it was Soar because, like I said, he transforms into an Apatosaurus. So, I don't know. It is what it is, and you know, you can play around with it. But to transform him, you fold this piece up, you extend his little head out like that, and you bring down his little dino legs. Those little dino legs. That's cute, dino legs. Then fold this down, and that's his that's his tail. You can position that like that. Does this split? No, that doesn't split, but you can see that the legs are actually split a bit, which is good. And then you take these little bits, and again, you plug these into the back holes, and there's that. And then, and oh, that's because I forgot to mention one thing, that these guys actually do combine. That's one kind of cool thing, but there you have them. Now let's get him transformed real quick. And here they are. And again, starting off first with Bumblebee, as I said, straight repaint. That's all that is really mold-wise different. One thing that I will say though is that things are tighter on him. As I say that, I'm pulling everything apart. It does still pop off. It's not as bad as it was before, but it is a little bit tighter, which is nice. I don't know why that is. I don't know what they changed specifically, but it does lock in there much nicer. The ankles here are also very tight. They're not as floppy. I mean, you can see that stays up there really very well, and then you can slot that in there, and it gives a much better stability to the ankles. I really like that. What does kind of get a little bit looser is this. Not so much the gun. The gun stays in there really well. It's a nice tight fit. What does kind of flop around is his other hand. It's not as tight as the other one. I mean, it stays in there, but it's a little bit more loose. But great paint detail on the entire thing. You can see some extra black in there. You see more of that blue for the chest area. Nice silver hands. You got the silver on his outer section of his forearms. You get a little bit more detail on the inside here with the silver for his shins. Obviously, the crotch piece. The face looks terrific. It is, again, the same sculpt, so it really does look solid, but you got a lot of really nice silver paint that really pulls it out, and then those blue eyes look terrific. You got that nice Autobot logo on the crest as well, so really happy with how this particular figure turned out. Again, whether or not we see him like this in the movie is another story. I don't know if we'll see him like that. And then obviously you can take this and you can plug this into his butthole right there. So you can have some like weapon storage kind of hanging out there on the side. So really very cool for that guy. Now for the little tiny dinosaurs, I mean, if you really call it, isn't Iguanodon a dinosaur? I don't think an Iguanodon is really a dinosaur. You know, these guys are okay. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are into them for the G1 aspect, and I dig it. I can understand that. In terms of Dairu here, kind of looks lanky, but it's pretty decent. You got some head articulation, you got some arms that move forward and back, you got that split here. So you can kind of split the body pretty decently, and then the hips move forward and back. He's got knees. Guess you could kind of say that he's got a foot just as part of the transformation. Lots of flexibility here in the tail, different directions and things like that. So you can play with it and get some pretty good poses with them. As far as I can't say his name, but he just kind of is a Apatosaurus. So again, you got the tail that has a double hinge section right there. You got a little hinge down here, and then at the tip of it, so you got two hinges right there. The feet move forward and back, die cast, which is nice. The little hands and such are die cast, so that's a nice throwback to the original kind of G1 days. Are both of these? I feel like these two are connected. Yeah, so I guess that really doesn't do much. This one here, they're separated there. You got two joints down here for the neck, and then you've got two joints up here, so you can kind of get him looking kind of any way that you really want. So really cool, but you know, they're little cassette dudes, so there's nothing too terribly special about these, except for the fact they combine. Yeah, they do. So I'm going to go back. It's a little bit easier to go into a little tab right there. Go into combine mode from the little beastie mode. So let's see, bring that all around like that. Now what's happening here? There we go. So we got that guy. Let's get this going back into their little cassette modes again. I mean, I'm not focusing too much on the transformation for these guys. It's obviously fairly simple to transform them. There we go, and there you go. So let's get going. So here we got this guy here. So we're going to take this section. Well, actually, I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to rotate this all the way down, just like that. Take this section, then lift this all the way up just like so, then fold it all the way down and around like that. You can take this back section, going to just hinge this up like so, and then take this entire assembly here and you split this apart. Make sure that you get it, there's like 2 hinges there. Make sure that you get that bent as much as possible, but just kind of get that as straight as you possibly can. Take this whole section, you can bring this all the way down like that, and oh, look, there's a face. Yeah, that's her face. And then just kind of set this off to the side. This is going to be the upper section of the robot. Come around to this guy. You're going to take these legs, you're going to fold this down just like so. Do that on this side as well. Then fold this bit in, and then fold this in, and kind of just keep it straight. Then take these little heads and tail bits and fold those up like so along the back side. Then spin it around. Now this part, this is kind of interesting. So you have these little prong. Oh no, I'm sorry, I did that reverse. Go this way. There we go. Fold that back and around. So you got these little sections here that don't really seem to line up very well. So like this one comes down and it just sits there. It's supposed to go all the way down, but it doesn't. There's like a little, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little piece right here that stops it. I don't know why that is. It doesn't go all the way around. That's kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. So let's get this other one out and around. I mean, that one goes down a lot more, but you can see how that one just kind of sticks out. I'm really not sure why it honestly does that, but it is what it is. Then you take this, we're going to come around here, take this little section, kind of lift this up, and then bend the head right here, and then you take this and you just slot this down, and you got a little section right here that's going to peg into a hole in his butt. So just kind of line that up there, kind of tab that in, and then bring that all the way down just like so. And yeah, this is his robot mode, and honestly, it's not very good because he doesn't stand very well, especially with these little pieces not doing the right thing. I mean, you can get him to kind of stand, but you know, it is what it is. The weapons actually kind of fill in some of this little bit here. So put these guns, these one, oh no, this one here, you want to put this along the side thusly. Keep that down, and then these little ones are going to go on the little hip sections, so tab that in right there, kind of get that there along the side, and then put this one in along the side like that. Let's see, do I have that? Maybe I don't have that all the way. That's good enough. But there he is. This is the robot. Now, in the instructions, there's actually no name for this guy. But what's interesting is that his original name was Leg Out. And if you look here on the back of the package, rock out with your leg out. So I wonder if that's, you know, a throwback to him. But here he is. It's kind of G1 ugly. That's what I'm going to call it, G1 ugly. Nothing real in terms of articulation or anything. The head is just static there. These, which are the arms, just kind of swivel out, kind of do a dance. That's about it. Kind of just hanging out there. I guess you could kind of say his hips move forward and back. That's some articulation, but I really, I'm just going to leave those up. I don't really You know, honestly, it probably would. Let me see. I'm going to rotate these around to the other side. That'll probably be better for feet. I'm going to go with those as his feet. I think that looks a little bit better. But, well, it still doesn't stand all that well, though. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, G1 ugly. I don't have any kind of attachment or anything to this guy. It is what it is. But I know a lot of people have gone crazy for these. Now, as I said, we're going to be getting the Studio Series 20. This is 19. 20 is a similar color to this Bumblebee, but it is that VW Bug, which I think looks really good, actually. I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con. I was pretty impressed with it. But he comes with different cassettes, I guess. I'm assuming he comes with the other ones that were Decepticons, I believe, because, and I don't know how this is actually working out, because I thought both of these were Autobots, yet this guy here's got a Decepticon logo, so I have no idea. But it, you know, it's fun. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. The only way that we've been able to get these little cassette bots here in North America has been through San Diego Comic-Con, because as I mentioned, these were only released previously in Japan. So it's kind of cool. I dig it. Now, one thing that's interesting is a lot of times San Diego Comic-Con exclusives sell out very quickly at the show. As far as I know, these ones didn't. As far as I want to say Saturday, this as well as the Throne of Prime set didn't sell out. So in talking to them, they did mention that there's going to be very, very limited quantities available on Hasbro Toy Shop in the next coming weeks. But I gotta believe that there's going to be more than that, as there seemed to be a lot left over from the actual show. So if this is a set that you would like to pick up, you know, I mean, it's decent looking. I think most people are going to want to get this. This is, to me, the biggest selling point. A gold version of Bumblebee. It's an improved figure. I mean, the things are tighter on it, but really, that's all it is. Unless we see him looking like this in the movie, I don't really have much of an attachment to this. But this is pretty cool. Definitely ugly in this combined mode, but individually they look really good. So all that being said, if this is a set that you'd like to add to your collection, as I mentioned, it will be available in the next coming weeks on Hasbro's website, HasbroToyShop.com. For that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you can check that out. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate your support and letting me know by hitting that thumbs up button. It actually does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, now more than ever, it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to help support my channel and not miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And a very special thanks to you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. And a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.